I find it shameful that battle mages sought so much imperial power. That served to attract others to that type of magic, folk who have absolutely no empathy, which harms everyone, ultimately. Ambition is a self-serving trait.
Come to Leywin, Julius said. We'll make a killing, he said. Now here we are, sharing a bed in a louse-ridden hovel, having to pawn my finest silks to pay rent. Forgive the outburst. Perhaps I'm being too hard on my brother.
I recognize that swagger. You once darkened the door of an establishment my brother and I ran in northern Elsewhere, did you not? Much as I would relish renewing our acquaintance, I'm a bit too distracted. Damnable Fangfurls. With the Empire gone, the Fangfurls gang controls all trade in Blackwood. They're run by Pungent Adder. Every fifth coin in the region ends up in his coffers. This makes business difficult for my brother and I. Perhaps we could enlist your help? If we had one of their business ledgers, I'd have an understanding of the Fangfurls' operations. Perhaps even find a weakness ripe for exploiting. If you could procure one of those ledgers for us, my brother and I would pay you handsomely. If you get us a ledger, I'm certain we can put it to good use. Rumor has it the Fangfurls have a bookkeeper, Lyrard Droth, who lives in town. I'd wager you could find a ledger in his home. It's just around the corner, across from the bridge. I know his name is Lyrard Droth, but the Fangfurls make him lead a quiet life to conceal his identity, I imagine. But all the muscle on their payroll visits him for late-night liaisons. Very clandestine, the whole thing. But not to my keen eyes. The Happy Averno Shipping Company was gifted to my brother and I by our dear departed uncle. Formerly, it was one of Blackwood's main trade enterprises. We thought with a little elbow grease, it might prove a profitable venture. We discovered our uncle's affairs were more precariously poised than described, for one. Many of his charters and contracts were voided by the Three Banners War. The Fangfurls did the rest. They came for everything they could steal. You can learn a great deal from a business ledger. Where money comes from, where it goes, and then all you need to do is apply a little pressure at a weak point. I don't know exactly what we'll find, but I do know whatever it is, I can exploit it. Scipion and I left Elsewhere to claim a gift left to us by our departed uncle, the Happy Averno Shipping Company. Formerly, it was one of Blackwood's main trade enterprises. We thought, with a little elbow grease, it might prove a profitable venture. We discovered our uncle's affairs were more precariously poised than described, for one. Many of his charters and contracts were voided by the Three Banners War. The Fangfurls did the rest. They came for everything they could steal.
Ah, you're going to help us? Lovely. I trust Julius mentioned that we would pay you for your services. We may be in a tight spot currently, but rest assured, if you succeed in this, you will reap the full benefits of our appreciation.
Help out a poor soul.
Someone bit into it. It's still delicious.
There's always more to do.
Some rather unsavory ruffians skulking about. Fang furls, I'm sure.
They wouldn't dare approach us directly. We're safe enough, Julius.
All the same, I'd rather you not venture outside without me, brother. You found the ledger, I take it. How exciting! You should let Scipion take a look at it. He's always been better with numbers than myself.
The Fangfurls continue to sniff around our skirts. If we don't move quickly, there won't be a happy Averno shipping company left to save. Did you find the ledger my brother asked about? I'd like a look. Julius has no head for sums. Let's see. It seems the Fangfurls have their thumbs in some very dirty pies. I'm not one to talk, given where my hands have been. I have an idea. If we can draw out Pungent Adder himself, we can topple him and his gang. By gifting Pungent Adder some umbrage. Looking at this ledger, I see two morsels dangling before us. Firstly, according to this, the Fangfurls use dead drops to issue and receive orders. If we steal those drops, we disrupt their operation. We sent Pungent Adder a more personal message. It seems he has a barrel of Oleander Coast Reserve waiting at the docks. Let's say we season it with something foul. Make it as pungent as the adder himself? While you sabotage the dead drops and taint his wine, Julius and I will write a signed letter to make his blood boil. Then it's just a matter of combing the stinking depths of Leowin until we find someone that can put the letter in his hands. Hang on to them, I suppose. They might be useful to peruse after all is said and done. Find out who's worth trusting and who's happily squirming in bed with Adder. The cask is at the docks, so I'm sure there will be something on hand. Pitch, bilge water, fish, anything will do. Just try not to get caught doing anything unseemly in public, hmm? No sense mixing business with pleasure.
And the people of Leowin are free.
Got a gullet that needs filling? If you're not too choosy, then look no further. These bilge grubs will settle your stomach. There's the smell of low tide in every bite. They're a good source of fuel for the working people of Leowin, of course. Once they realize how much energy and nourishment is in each grub, they'll forget about that privy house scent. Why not buy a skewer, stranger? Wonderful. You won't regret it, I guarantee. Oh, and speaking of regrets, don't eat these near any open flame. Enjoy.
Have you ever seen Sai Sahan? No, wait, don't tell me. If you have, I'll be jealous. Have you not heard the story of how he saved Leowin? It's the greatest tale of all time. I actually came to Leowin to hear some first-hand accounts. He just sounds so heroic. Well, as the story goes, he led mercenaries here to free Leowin at Baron's request, but they turned a traitor and started attacking him too. But he fought his way into the city anyway, killing both mercenaries and Longhouse loyalists alike. It was more than impressive. Can you imagine seeing something like that with your own eyes? I can't imagine the blood, the sheer carnage. And in the center of it all, Sai Sahan himself, radiating glory. I wish I could have been there. Oh.
Those were fang furls, weren't they?
Yes! They grabbed the two brothers and dragged them out of here. Horrid. But it's none of our business.
I knew it was only a matter of time before the fang furls came for those dry skins. They should have left Blackwood while they still could.
It truly is a tragedy. I hope the Fangfurls don't think we had anything to do with the Averno's affairs. Divines forbid.
Timber was shipped to Bravo Port and sailed for Blackwood Head. 1, 2, 1, 2, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mark. Show water lurks in foggy murk across the Nibbin Bar. In Torval we bought sugar cane, in South Point furs and dyes. Then sold it all at Daggerfall and Drangenstross Mackay. The Gold Coast has silk and wine. We turn for home again. In Leeuwin town my sweetheart pined to see her sailing men. 1, 2, 1, 2, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mark. For Nereids dwell beneath the swells across the Nibbin Bar. 1, 2, 1, 2, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mark. For sailors roam upon the foam across the Nibbin Bar.
See, I told you they'd come, Scipion.
Not now, Julius. Our friend could be ambushed at any moment.
Fine. I will deal with you myself.
Well thought. Now, would you mind freeing us from these bindings?
Thank the Divines. Those fang furls have unpleasant knotwork.
Let's not linger here. Shall we meet back at our office?
Thunder rolls as Sarsahan, nears Leywin as war rages on. Leovik's warriors are on the attack.
We made it back safely and burned our sodden silks. I still feel filthy. We're both going to need a long, hot bath after all this. But what's more important is that we stood up to the Fang Furls and won.
Grim drawing strength from within.
Absolutely. Now that you've stripped the Fang Furls of their leader, the Empire will dismantle itself, which opens up a great deal of business opportunities, none of which would be possible without you. Take this with our deepest thanks. The whole affair has left poor Scipion so dreadfully tense. He collapsed from exhaustion as soon as we got back. He has such a fragile disposition. Don't worry about him. I won't let him out of my sight. Now that this matter is settled, Scipion and I can begin restoring the Happy Averno Trading Company. My first priority is to find us somewhere else to live. I don't mind close quarters, but the two of us are accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
With only sword and wits to defeat them.
A few, but we don't want to merely restore it to its original profitable status. My brother and I always strive for more. We rely on our ingenuity for success. Our dear uncle was rather kind-hearted when it came to debts. We'll change that.
Within the city, he seeks to liberate. The forces converge, but Sai's blade is unstable.